I can't hear it.
Well, hey, everybody.
Hi.
That's Taylor.
That's Jared.
And this is Taylor Ruins Jared's Day, a true crime podcast in which, as you can probably guess, Taylor's going to try to ruin my day, telling me about probably somebody did some terrible things.
I mean, that's usually how it works. How else would you? Oh, never mind. So, happy Halloween also.
Happy Halloween.
It is Halloween. I've never been a big Halloween person.
What are you talking about? You love
What?
Halloween.
I mean,
by the way, nice job with Lily's costume yesterday. That was cool.
It's fine, but it's not my favorite holiday.
Okay.
There's a cat or anything. I mean, because I never dressed up as a kid. Because I'm fat now, but I was a fat kid. So you couldn't, we had the stupid plastic masks with the dresses for the costumes. Like, costumes weren't anything when I was a kid.
Why weren't you the Violator?
I don't know.
Didn't you read Spawn?
No.
Or watch the Spawn movie?
One good Halloween was there was a Halloween party at the local fire station, and there was like a big contest with different categories and shit. And the one time my mom got involved, this was the only time that I remember my mom being involved in things with me specifically. But she did I dressed up as a victim from Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. And I had a bird on my shoulder, like a crow, and my eye was falling off my face, and it was situated on my shoulder so that it was pecking at the eyeball. Then I had one on my hand. I had blood everywhere. I won scariest costume. I think I was in 5th grade.
Nice job, Taylor.
That was my mom.
Yeah, great job, Mom.
Yeah.
Way to go, Kim.
The one time. Yeah.
One time.
Oh yeah. So yesterday we did one of my nieces. She's 13. She's in the dance team. She's fun like that.
Yeah.
So cute.
She tried to play up into our show theme and go as a serial killer, except she had a knife and a bunch of
cereal
little boxes of kitty-sized portions of cereal.
Because they don't come in boxes anymore.
Yeah.
They're plastic bags now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun. But people weren't getting it. I didn't make it up. I just
cereal, and then she's holding a knife
with blood,
with blood on it, like serial killer. Come on, guys.
Yo, but these earrings she got were dope as shit. They were like knives with blood dripping off of them, and they were dangly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The serial killer's hoop earring.
It wasn't a hoop. It was a knife. It was straight down.
I said it's the serial killer's hoop earring.
But it wasn't a hoop.
It's like a serial killer's hoop earring.
It's a dangly earring, Jared.
Like, as in almost.
Whatever. Okay. So, I was going to tell you, obviously, about a Halloween murder.
Yeah.
But the case that I really was like, oh, fuck yeah, that looks interesting. I want to learn more about that. And started to. The chick who does the YouTube videos while putting on her makeup and tells you about true crime.
Okay.
She did it Wednesday. So I was like, oh, never mind. Because
do you even know that person's name?
No.
Awesome.
Do you?
No, I don't watch true crime. You're like, what?
Well, I try not to watch people's shit unless it's a documentary or a movie, something like that, or books, true things about that. I try not to listen to other people's true crime stuff, just because I don't know. I just feel like that opens up the door for them to be like, oh, this twat is taking my material. No.
I mean, if every creative endeavor since we've been together, right? Stand-up comedy, writing about sports. Now we're doing podcasting. I don't listen to comedy. I don't care about what the announcer's saying on a football game. I don't listen to other people's podcasts. And it's not an ego thing. It's one I will never be confronted about stealing material. I'll just flat out tell you, you can go look at my listening history on any application on my phone, and I can promise you I ain't listen to the shit.
To be
I don't have any clue.
Honest,
Dead serious.
The only podcast that I will listen to is Case Files,
I listen to Pat McAfee. That's about it.
which it's just because he has like recordings. Like I listened to all the people at Jonestown die.
Yeah,
Like,
that's wild.
okay, duh. Why wouldn't you listen to that?
A lot of
Anyways.
people died because they're stupid. I don't know.
I mean, I dressed up as Jim Jones for Halloween.
Yeah.
Like again, I did it last year, but I did it again Friday.
Mhm.
I won our Halloween costume at work, by the way. But the more you actually look into Jim Jones, because he is an Indiana native, the more you're just like, he actually was a stand-up dude. But he has had this one thing going for him.
Which was what?
That he put out all the cyanide in the Kool-Aid. That's it.
Yeah.
But his thing going
Other
for
than
him,
committing mass murder.
listen, he didn't make them drink it. He just provided it to them and willed them to. Anyways, his whole premise, like, because he was born, I'm not telling you about Jim Jones, but I'm going to tell you about Jim Jones real quick.
Yeah.
He was born in Crete, Indiana, which is north of Richmond. So he's an Indiana native. And then he spent time in Lynn, which my college roommate was from Lynn. So I've actually been to Lynn, Indiana, and it's a tiny little place. It's just north of Richmond. And him and his dad didn't get along. And he started preaching to people like Jim Jones did. But they ended up moving to Richmond. And that's what Richmond has a big Black community. Well, this was in the 40s and 50s, so segregation was still a thing. But Jim Jones was trying to he's a teenager. He's like trying to preach inclusive, like being inclusive and everyone's the same and we're all equal. And he wanted to include the Black people with the white people in his sermons and shit, like as a teenager. It's like, it wasn't.
You sure it was because he just wanted to kill Black people? Like,
he might have, I don't know, but
I'm just
preaching.
saying.
Well, be quiet. He went to Indiana State University, so Terre Haute, before he moved to Indianapolis. Where they lived in Bloomington, and then he started the People's Temple in Indianapolis. But my aunt and uncles grew up during this. Indianapolis remember this man because they lived in the area where they were actually being bused into a Black school when everything was getting combined. So they remember, oh, there's a cat coming up on the table. They remember these things like this happening, and the local pastors and other preachers and shit in Indianapolis were still segregating. They didn't want Black people in their church. Black people didn't really care for white people in their church. They didn't want to be together. But Jim Jones was trying to get everybody together. The preachers and other pastors and everything of Indianapolis ran him and his family out of the town. So they relocated to California, Eureka, California. Because, California is more progressive than Indiana. Obviously, it's fucking Indiana. We're stupid here. But then the same thing happened there. And that's when he ended up taking everybody to South America. It did just so happen that I'd say probably about half of his congregation was African American. So, he might have just been trying to kill Black people. I don't know, but he did kill white people too. So that's cool. But then also they came like state senators and shit from California went because people were complaining about their family members that went, hey, you hush. Edmund Kemper's barking at the cats.
Yes, that's right. We have a dog named Edmund Kemper.
Yeah.
And you know why.
Yeah. But yeah, people were worried about family members that went with him. Like they weren't able to contact them and shit. So they sent like state representatives down to South America, to Guyana or whatever, where they had judges.
Guyana?
Sure. To see what was going on. And they were like very disturbed about what they found. So they were massacred when they tried to leave. Like Jim Jones had someone on the plane with them and killed them all. It was really kind of cool. Anyways, so yeah, I mean,
he killed like senators,
like senator aides and shit. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like people that came down to see what was actually going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a stand-up guy, Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, he was Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever heard absolute power corrupts absolutely?
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, you think you've got absolute power when you get a bunch of people to move out of their home country and give up everything they know, move
Right.
down to Jonestown, right? And then you realize ultimately it was going to fall apart one way or the other, right? So that's why he
Right.
killed all those people. He's not a good
But
guy.
then he killed himself
He's a
too.
master manipulator.
Absolutely.
Not a good guy at all. But I get like the whole like he's preaching inclusivity. That's cool.
He
Cool.
like probably saved some of those people from a life of shit.
Fair bet.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then this week's episode of
I'd be okay
Taylor
if a lot
Ruins
of
Jared's
people
Day, we're going to
went
talk about a
home.
serial killer who we don't think is a
It was.
sinless
It's
guy.
not a serial killer. It's not a serial killer.
Oh, okay.
So since I'm not going to do the people that the Halloween murder that I was going to show, I found this dude, John Seisling.
Mm-hmm.
He's a peach.
Yeah.
It's a
Seisling?
short Seisling, Siesling, Seisling.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
You hush. And then, okay. So he was born on February 18th, 1985 in Michigan. So he's our age.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mom and dad still together. Mom stayed home, stay-at-home mom. Dad drove a semi.
Mm-hmm.
He was like a long haul truck driver. So,
Mm-hmm.
he's gone for chunks of time.
Mm-hmm. Missing a father figure.
Right. He had two sisters, Caitlin and Leah.
Okay.
So
bunch of raised around a bunch of women. You can see where this is going. Go ahead.
Where's it going, Jared? You tell me. Where's it going?
You're about to. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to fast forward. January 22nd, 2003. John is
18.
John 17. Is 17. Caitlin is 15 and Leah is 6. Dad is away on the road, and John is apparently going through some shit.
Like what?
Yeah. Well, something enough to decided he wanted to just beat his mom and his sister Caitlin with a baseball bat.
Oh shit!
Before stabbing them to death.
I thought you said he wasn't a serial killer.
Well, that's not serial killer. That's like a family annihilation.
Oh, okay. There's like a technicality here.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not a serial killer.
So he killed 2 people.
Mm-hmm. So
with a baseball bat and then stabbed them to death.
Right.
He wasn't very committed to the baseball bat beating.
Right. So his little sister Leah, who's 6, comes inside and sees all this blood and shit and starts crying.
Oh.
And she's not okay. She's like, "What's happening, John? What is going on? What's wrong with mommy and Caitlin?" So John, being the great big brother that he is, he kindly put her to bed, got her out of her cold clothes, put her in pajamas, put her to bed, and then slit her throat.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a plot twist.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a serial killer, Taylor, because it seems like
it's not. It's a family annihilation. Yeah. So it gets better, I think. I don't actually, maybe not. It gets better. So just to make it shorter than it already is, because this is a short episode.
Mm-hmm.
He was sentenced to life in prison, and his crime is still stated to be one of Michigan's worst crimes ever. But once he's in jail and everything, because he didn't give much information when it happened. It's as he's gotten older, he's done like interviews and shit. So more information has came out since he's gotten older and started talking about it. But dad was working, so he was spared death. He wasn't home. But John has stated that he did not care for his father. Which to me makes me want to say, why did you kill everyone else when your dad was away? Why wouldn't you just take out everybody?
Yeah.
That just seems the most logical to me. But why did he kill his mom and sisters, did you ask? Oh, just typical teenage angst. He was just John's exact motive was ruled as teenaged high spirit, quotes, air quotes, which apparently
Did he just jack off like everyone else? You know what I mean? Like, holy shit.
listen, apparently this is the mental state where a teen feels a strong dislike for his family, which prompts them to take care of that problem.
For the record, family annihilation is only a legal, like a legal term. He's still a serial killer.
Okay, fine.
Interesting.
Jesus Christ.
But usually, but in over half of it's called familicide for the record, and over half of the instances of familicide, the killer ends up killing themselves. So, like I said, he's a serial killer.
Like
his motive was
suicide.
purely emotional,
right?
Probably due to a lack of father figures. Probably a lot of conversations he needed to have as a kid that he didn't get to have, right?
So again, like I stated, as he got older, he started talking more.
Mm-hmm.
And I did read an interview, that a 2004 interview he did with the Grand Rapids Press,
mm-hmm.
which he blames a miserable childhood and Prozac. So, quote, this is a direct quote from that article.
Mm-hmm.
Ciesling blames his bloody rampage with a baseball bat and kitchen knife on what he describes as a miserable childhood and the Prozac he was taking to fight depression.
Interesting. You know what's crazy is when I was 15 years old, my mom tried to make me get on Zoloft, and I never took that medication.
I was on multiple things because so I don't remember what it was, but I was on an antidepressant because I had a manic depressive or disorder. Yeah. So I was on something, and then I had something that was because I was diagnosed bipolar.
Mm-hmm.
When was that? That was freshman year. I was 15. Well, then, yeah.
Brain's not fully developed yet. It's kind of stupid to put you on dope when you're under the age of 18. Your lungs aren't fully filled out yet. You know what I mean? You only have about 85% of your lung capacity. Your brain's only about 70% the way developed. You know what I mean? It seems kind of stupid to put SSRIs in your brain, right? A lot of doctors should have lost their licenses a long time ago. Fortunately for me, I went into a doctor's office and he's like, yeah, your parents want me to put you on this. But like, I think you're just a kid. And I'm like, cool. Can I just do that for like a few more years? And then we could talk about the dope. And he was like, yeah, we should probably do that.
It's the same
like, let's
thing
let your brain get fully developed before we put you on like medication that affects the chemical balance in your brain. You know what I mean? Like, let kids be kids to a degree, right? Probably more like be a parent. You know what I mean?
Well, so working in pharmacy, I've seen it a lot. Like people flip their shit when like they can't, especially with people on Medicaid. Like because you work in Medicare and everything, like you understand formularies and stuff get changed all the time. So whether your insurance is going to cover Ritalin or Vyvanse, or Adderall or what's the actual, never mind. Anyways, but it's like people flip their shit because their kid doesn't have, your 10-year-old does not need Adderall. It needs to go outside and play and burn off the fucking energy. Granted, I'm not a parent. I never will be for this fact because I'm the first one. I'll give a little fucking annoying shit a tablet. Go entertain yourself because kids aren't given, like no schools teach like any creativity or anything. They just stamp it out and it's just everything's getting stamped. I hate it. I hate the world. I hate it. Yeah, we're on a whole thing now.
How would you know?
No,
just out of curiosity about like what teachers are teaching in school.
Well, I have an aunt that's a kindergarten teacher. I have another friend who's a 6th grade teacher. I have multiple siblings, nieces and nephews that are in school, and I see their homework, hear about what they have to do, their projects. Fuck is this? I saw what they were doing last year with like the virtual shit. I would kill somebody if I had a kid. So I would already be dead. I would have already had to kill myself or kill other people, or I would never leave the home. My kid would be a hermit too. I would be homeschooling. let's get back to the case. But yeah, kids are the same as fucking puppies. Okay, they have too much energy. They're gonna be destructive. Anyways,
That's actually true.
I know. So, but apparently, John had told his friends in the weeks leading up to his incident with his family.
His incident with his family.
He
His
told
triple homicide.
yes, he told his friends that he was going to kill his family like multiple times.
You know what I didn't hear as a kid? I'm
What?
gonna kill my family multiple times. I could imagine that the police were called and they came around and asked him if he meant he was really gonna do that, or let me guess, nobody said anything.
They testified at
Oh,
court.
after he committed a multiple murder. See,
Yeah,
that's
and
called premeditation. That is a serial killer.
they
It ain't even familicide.
They all testified that they thought he was joking.
Man, that's not even a funny joke. You know what I mean? Like, I'm afraid
I mean,
I don't like
it's
it.
not funny. Like it's not funny looking back, but I've said to people, "Oh my god, I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah, I know.
Right? Yeah. I'm gonna kill you. I
Sounds
might
like
be killing you.
not funny.
I might be killing you slowly. I mean, I cook for you.
Oh, you're
alive.
killing me softly.
Oh god. Oh yeah. The flax seeds were in your eggs this morning.
That's why I only ate like spoonfuls.
You ate the entire plate of eggs.
It's on the counter.
Whatever, dude.
Nice try though. I'm a little
Whatever.
sweaty, so I I wouldn't doubt you're slowly trying
Good
to poison
luck.
me to do.
I know. No.
I just gotta play smarter, you know what I mean? Get a little tummy ache, you know.
And afterwards, and this wasn't actually released like on the
But this happened like 16 years ago. So it's like pretty new.
2003. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 06 he committed these murders. Is it 03? So it's like 18 years ago. I thought, oh yeah, because he was 18 years old.
He was 17 years old.
Did he get tried as an adult?
Yes.
Is he in prison still?
Yeah.
Did he get like multiple life sentences?
Oh, I don't know. He claims that he sexually assaulted his mother with the baseball bat.
Nice.
But that wasn't released in anything that I could find from like a news article or anything that described like injuries and like everything that happened.
Yeah.
He puked in the sink after he killed his 6-year-old sister Leah. After he put her to bed and slit her throat. Yeah. He cleaned up, took a shower, and was going to leave.
Yeah.
But called 911 instead and reported that a robber had broken in and killed his family.
Still sounds premeditated as fuck.
Right. He's in prison still in Michigan. He's only had one visitor.
Who's that?
His grandfather. And it was only one time. His father doesn't want to speak to him. And apparently his mental health has drastically declined after the murders. The father.
Oh, yeah, no shit.
But then in the article that I read, he had words of advice for parents.
Don't have kids.
Listen, quote, this is a direct quote. Don't abuse your children or they might kill you, end quote.
Just saying.
So he said it was a joke, but
who said it was a joke?
John.
But John who? The guy that committed the murders?
Yeah.
He said the murders were a joke.
No, that quote.
Oh, the quote. Shit. I was like, what
along,
is it? He think a joke is?
No, that don't abuse. So that makes you think.
Yeah, don't hit
you
your
don't
kids.
hear about his childhood. So like, what the fuck did?
Well, he didn't have a strong father figure. His dad was on the road all the time, right? So.
But that doesn't constitute as abuse, does it?
No, his abuser. So I'm pretty positive that mom probably wasn't a great disciplinarian. Mom probably put her fucking hands on him. And I mean, I'll never cape for a fucking murder. You know what I mean? Like you straight up premeditated the hell out of that and then try to be like in hindsight, like, oh, I was abused. You know, I had some like mental health problems as a teenage angst, you know what I mean? Write some music. jack off. Like I said, get a job, hell, graduate from high school early, go to college. You know what I mean? But kill your family. And
mean,
he also like told people he was around he's gonna do it. It's just like,
his
holy shit.
friends.
It's premeditated. If you're able to iterate that your mental health is in decline after you committed multiple murders, you're completely sound in mind. So like he had no way to like say like, oh, I'm just completing insanity. You know what I mean? No, he got tried as an adult. He's in jail for life. Yeah, in prison for life. He's a serial killer. It's kind of funny though, like, right? Like, you weren't built for it when you slit someone's throat and throw up in a sink. You know
But
what I
it
mean?
was his 6-year-old sister, so
Hmm.
she's 6.
I think if you felt strongly enough about it, you wouldn't feel anything when you did it. You'd just be like, I told you I was gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like, here we are.
I think that his brain, like 17-year-old boys, are not fully
Regret
developed. Can I
kicked in
speak?
immediately. Go ahead.
Okay. What? I don't remember what I was gonna say.
That's the problem. You want to talk, but you don't know what to say. Like,
Okay, guys.
what you got,
Have a
girl?
good Halloween. That was it. That's all I have. I
What
told you.
I'm so saying, like, you what do you want to say? Like, what were you gonna say about that situation?
No,
Like, he's clearly a multiple murderer, and he's sound of mind enough that
clearly,
he
he
planned it.
killed 3 people.
Yeah. But claiming teenage angst, like,
If he
ew.
planned it, he should have
Was
planned it.
had he seen a therapist before he committed murder?
I don't know. His
Hmm.
friends.
I wonder what his mom beat him or something.
If he actually planned it, you'd think he would have planned it better, so all 4 of them would have been home, and he could have got rid of his actual abuser. And I think it was the dad. I think the dad.
So you think dad saying that shit is like, when he was around, he was the authoritarian and put his hands on dude and then like left. So there was no like coming to God talking about this, like, hey man, I'm just disciplining you. You and I are so cool. I'm still your dad. I still love you. Like, go on the road to like work and keep the lights on and shit for you.
I mean, this is all hypothetical. We don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't even know if like they got along at all.
But I don't.
But I mean, obviously he beat the shit out of his kid. I don't know. He didn't say like I beat my kid or like my wife beat him and that's why he killed her. You know what I mean? Like,
no. But
what if the girls held him down and mom beat his ass? You know what I mean? Then that triple murder doesn't seem like, you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, I'd love to see a 6-year-old hold down a 17-year-old boy. Okay. So he did say that he did not like his father. Why?
Because he wasn't around very much and probably wasn't a very good disciplinarian.
Or he was too disciplinarian.
Well, no, like you can be a good disciplinarian and not put your hands on a kid, right? You can be good at making somebody pay for the mistakes they make.
Anyways, I just think that his quote, I mean, like, I think that says a lot. I think there's a lot that people don't know, that we don't know, that we probably will never know, but he's in prison. Ow.
Yeah, like I said, it seems like every time we do one of these episodes, like a recurring theme with these people, right? There's no whole home. There's no like good parenting. This kid was just crazy. It never happens, right? It's always a broken home. What I've frequently found, because we've done like 30 of these episodes, right? So you're going to see some patterns start to develop. It's frequently a multiple child household, more than 2. It's usually the oldest. And if you think about it, it's a pattern of neglect, typically, because it's like the firstborn, he becomes immediately not as important the moment the second child's born, and so on, right? Even less so when there's a third, fourth, etc. And then you think about a violently physically abusive father figure or the lack of one at all, right? And then also you never hear, like, other than getting his ass beat, his family was like fully invested and involved in his life and trying to ensure that he grew up, graduated from high school, and actually got the fuck out of where he's from, right? You don't ever hear that shit. You hear like dad was never around, dad was a bad disciplinarian, and then he killed the fucking people that weren't the bad guys, that weren't like his abusive father, right? Like you were talking about, like, oh, he should have like waited until dad was home too. Like, right, he was trying to get back at dad, right? So
that would make sense. Like, hey, you can live now, everybody's dead.
Yeah. Now you don't have to drive that truck, you know what I mean? Because I'm willing to bet because I was beat up by my dad as a kid, and my dad would say shit after he put his hands on me, like, if I didn't have this stressful fucking job, I wouldn't feel like I come home angry. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally how he always tried to place blame elsewhere instead of just accepting the fact that like he had shitty relationships with men when he was a child. Like his dad, his stepdad were both like hardcore alcoholics and drug abusers and wife beaters and cheaters and shit like that. So of course he didn't do drugs, drink, right? But he cheated on his wife and beat his kid, right? So
Mhm.
uh my mom was the same way, right? Like, oh, he only does that because he had a bad childhood and he has this super stressful job, but it pays for all this stuff. I mean, look at this house we live in. That's literally how my childhood was. So substantiating abuse, right? Fortunately, I was just fortunately, because of my parents, I was surrounded by way smarter people than I'll ever be, that kind of like told me that shit when I was a little kid. Like, just hang in there. Happens to lots of kids. Some of them become serial killers. So like, kind of like get the fuck out of that house. You know what I mean? Like ASAP.
Yeah, we're on our way.
Yeah. To being serial killers or I mean, just kidding.
Yeah.
Kidding. Wink, 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 wink.
I was trying to catch a cat. They're playing underneath.
That's
my
just like
feet.
having a death wish. You know what I mean? Like, do you
They're
frequently
like,
try to put both hands on a cactus?
they're like fighting each other underneath me, and they'd run away when
That's
I
like
try to grab
last
them.
night they were under the couch trying to rip your Achilles off.
I
Like,
know. That's like that's from that movie Pet Cemetery,
yeah.
where the Gage or
Mhm.
Gabe or whatever his name is cuts his grandfather's. Which, fun fact, Stephen King, because I recently read that book because I've been going back. I've been watching old horror movies that like from the 70s and 80s that
Mhm.
the characters, but I don't think I ever actually, because I was born in 86. So by the time that I was probably old enough to watch movies, it was I Know What You Did Last Summer or
Scream.
Scream, which is based on a serial killer in Florida. Anyways, maybe that
Wait. So there was because I'm trying to remember the premise of Scream. Wasn't it high school kids?
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
like a bunch of high
The
school kids got
Mask,
murdered by a masked person that used the
with
phone
the
to
ghost
confirm they
face.
were home. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that'll be next week's episode. I'll find the person, the
That'd be
case.
super interesting if we could find. Did they get caught?
I don't remember. Anyways, so
It's no fun to talk about these people unless they get caught and face justice. Otherwise, it's just like, oh, he's still out there. Awesome.
right,
We're gonna die.
exactly. I don't like shit with no closure. Yeah, like unsolved things. Like I'm good.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So I've been watching all these movies and I read books. So I'm listening to books because I like wear my headset or my earpieces at work, and I listen to Pet Cemetery. Well, before there in the beginning, the prologue, there's an interview with Stephen King, or Stephen King like talks, and he talks about how he held on to Pet Cemetery for like 7 months before he actually released it because he was uncomfortable with it, like because it affected him worse than any other book that he ever wrote. Like he was bothered by this book. So if you haven't read Pet Cemetery, you should read it. It's a good book. It's not scary. I don't think the movie's scary either, but it's more mind fuckery, like I think. But the movie definitely took liberties, that's for sure. Which
as they tend to do. Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
So what was this guy's name?
John Seisling.
John Seisling. Killed his mom and his 2 sisters.
Yeah, Caitlin and Leah. 15 and 6. Wah, wah,
It wasn't
wah.
that bad for me.
No.
In case you're wondering, it wasn't that bad for me until he put his 6-year-old sister to bed and slit her throat. And then went puked slit her throat, took a shower, right? Called the popo, was like, "Oh my god, you're clean though, bro. Like, come on, you didn't fight nobody off. Like, what the fuck?" I would have like kept the blood on me. I mean, look what I did with it. Oh, look,
I tried to
cut myself in a couple spots. Be like, look, all these defensive wounds. You know what I mean? But then again, I'm thinking like serial killer. And, arrest me. I haven't heard anyone.
He would contemplated just leaving. Like that's what he was gonna do and go hang out with friends.
Right, and be like, I wasn't even there.
Yeah. Oh, look, I caught her. This is Karen, guys. This is Karen.
She doesn't look like she's
Hi,
captive
Karen.
or anything.
No, she's not happy.
She didn't look like she's captive or anything. She was like,
I caught her though.
yeah, you
Karen.
did. Good job.
Okay, so yeah, happy Halloween, guys.
Yeah, happy Halloween. Looks
keep
like it's gonna be a
separate-
nice day here in Indy. Seeing the
Yeah.
sun's out, no wind. We'll take it.
It's gonna be like 55. I'm gonna go have some walking tacos, maybe a hot dog. Maybe. I don't
This has
know.
been Taylor Ruins Jared's Day. What episode is this, you know?
No, like 28, 29.
27?
Hang on,
26?
I have a list.
Oh yeah? I figured
Yeah.
you did. That's why I asked.
It is episode 29. John Seisling.
And of course, you can find our podcast by searching for Taylor Ruins Jared's Possessive apostrophe S Day. Taylor Ruins Jared's Day. You can
What's
find
our
us
handle
on
on Twitter,
TRJD Podcast.
Instagram,
TRJD Podcast.
email?
TRJD Podcast at gmail.com.
No, that's
No?
not it.
Is it Taylor Ruins Jared's Day at gmail.com? Fine. It could be that.
Yes, it is that. Okay, guys. Have a
But yeah,
great
you can find
day.
us on YouTube. You can find it anywhere you find your podcasts. Rate us 5 stars, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah, have a happy Halloween. Be safe out there.
Be safe.
Don't
Yeah.
answer the phone.
Stay vigilant. Constant vigilance, my friends. Okay.
See you, everybody.
Bye.